Would you like to be more connected and informed about your community? If so, it's time to find out who's doing what around town with Moot Point. Moot Point is a local podcast that covers the issues and topics that are relevant to all residents in Albion, Maine. Moot Point is a production of The Moo at moo202.org. And now, here's the host of Moot Point, Brad Taylor.
Hi there. Coming up on Saturday, July 28th is the Albion Field Day, and one of the traditional events of Field Day is the parade. On this episode of Moot Point, my guest is Kaitlyn Sinclair, who happens to be this year's organizer of the parade. And he joins me to tell you everything that you might need to know about being in the parade. I want to thank you, Kevin, for taking out a few minutes out of your day to come and talk to me about the Albion Field Day Parade.
Oh, not a problem.
And so the theme for the Albion Field Day this year is Albion to the Rescue. And is that also a theme that you're hoping that people will put into their floats for the parade?
We are hoping. We've had a couple of ideas kicked around about maybe we thought about some of the younger boys might be doing the Decorate Your Wheels. It was brought up that we might be able to decorate the bicycles to ride in the parade in that fashion, but I don't think that's going to come together. But we are hoping that Albion to the Rescue, people will try to go with that theme in their floats.
Okay. Now, I've seen pictures that go back to either the early 60s or the late 50s. So a parade for Albion Field Day is a very long established tradition in this community.
Yes.
And we want to try to keep it going for this year. Every year you have a field marshal. Do you have a field marshal for this year?
We have the parade marshals. Tentatively, we have Howard Nielsen and Leonard Dow.
Okay. Good enough. And they'll get to ride in a vehicle of honor.
Yes. That is the plan.
That is the plan. Is it now for the grand marshals of the parade? Do they get to ride in like an antique car or just whatever convertible you can find?
It's in years past. It's been an antique convertible or an antique car. Most often a convertible, but there has been a few years we've had newer vehicles. It was a couple of years ago. They had a brand new Corvette was the grand marshal's vehicle.
Oh wow!
So.
I bet that was pretty cool. Now, just to, and we can review this towards the end of our conversation, the particulars, since getting people to register for this is so important, how does somebody go about registering to be in the parade?
Just contact me. My cell phone number is 680-6779. Just contact me and let me know you're interested, and I'll tell you where to meet and what time and roughly how big of a procession you're going to have with your group, whether it's going to be one or two people or if it's going to be a tractor and a trailer, just so I have a rough idea how much space we need in the route. Okay.
And how much time is there a deadline for this? I mean...
I preferably would like to know at least a week before, or at least the day before, so I know how big of a route I need to set up and how much help I'm going to need to actually put it together.
Okay.
To get people lined up in a orderly fashion.
Sure. Now, how long is the parade route normally?
The parade route itself goes from the log yard on the Huzzy Road, down the Huzzy Road, down Main Street, and then usually ends up at the Albion Elementary School. So, okay. And people can disperse from there either at the parking lot at the school or they can continue on and out Lee Street.
Uh-huh.
And from there disperse where they need to go.
Okay.
But it's usually not, in the last few years, it's only been about a 15-minute parade, if that, because we've had very low attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to make it a little bit bigger this year. We've got a few more groups have said they'll be here. We've had a lot more interest than the last few years. And we have actually sent out letters to several businesses, all the businesses in town, and several area departments, fire departments, to hopefully get more apparatus and floats and participation in the parade this year.
Now, I know in years past there's been awards for, like having the best float in the parade, things like that. Are you still doing that?
just because of budgetary reasons this year, we're not really doing any awards. I do have some participation ribbons that I'm going to try to hand out if I can catch everybody this year. But monetary and budget reasons, we haven't really set anything up for as far as awards go.
Okay. So now, what kind of floats really seem to get the crowds excited?
Anything with candy. Usually if you have some candy and you throw candy, that gets people excited. I know some people like the antique cars. They like the antique tractors, especially if you have some antique equipment or older vintage, as they say, equipment that people like seeing that. So the kids, yes, especially kids. I know we have a couple of daycares in town that in years past have put floats in, and we have the sports teams. Years ago, we used to have stock cars and everything from town in the parade, but there's not so much participation in that anymore either. So,
right. So anybody who has an antique car should just get in the parade just to do it. Yeah.
If you have an antique vehicle and you're willing to bring it out and drive it down Main Street and show it off, we'd love to have you.
Okay. And now, when it comes to doing floats, I mean, I know in years past I've seen people really go to a lot of trouble to decorate and come up with creative ideas for floats.
Yes, and the crazier the better, to a point. We do like to see a lot of participation like that and excitement about field day. I mean, it's the big shindig in town. So
okay. Now, can you share with me maybe some of your all-time favorite floats that you thought were just really cool?
Well, I know a few years ago we had one of the local farms in town. They put their brand new tractor with a hay wagon behind it, and the hay wagon was done up with all kinds of red, white, and blue ribbons and streamers and banners, and they had the hay bale set up, and a bunch of kids rode on the float, and I thought that was cool.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
So hopefully we can get some more of that kind of participation and keep field day going.
Yeah, I saw a picture that the Historical Society had of somebody who had one of those, the trotter horses.
Yep.
Where they have the little carriages behind that they pull. Well, they had two people dressed up as a pantomime horse.
Yep.
Pulling the trotter carriage down the street. That was pretty cool. I don't know how many years ago. That was probably 30 years ago that picture was taken.
Probably.
Yeah. But I think the whole point of all of this is that people can get as creative as they want to. And the more creative you get, the more exciting the parade becomes.
Exactly.
Anything else you can tell us about the parade that you think is particularly interesting?
I mean, it's small town Albion. It's something that we only do once in a while, or once a year. I don't know.
It's just part of community.
Yes, it's the community thing, and hopefully we can get people to keep doing it.
Yeah. Do you get good-sized crowds of people showing up to see the parade?
We used to. Like I said, the last few years, the parade's dwindled, the participation has dwindled, so the crowds haven't been quite like they used to be. But we're hoping to keep building it back up. Okay.
Well, that's great. Let's take a break, and I understand that you also have some information about the bake sale that you can share.
Well, actually, it's the cake contest.
The cake contest. Well, we'll come back and we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Alrighty.
Do you moo? Currently, the only way to listen to Albion's local radio station, The Moo, is by using the TuneIn radio app. The TuneIn radio app can be downloaded for free from either the App Store or the Play Store on your phone or tablet. Once you have the app, search for The Moo. After it appears, click on the heart emblem to make The Moo one of your favorites. Then, each time you open the app, it will automatically start playing The Moo. Here's one other tip. If the station keeps cutting out, go into the TuneIn radio app settings and make the buffering time longer. By doing that, you'll have a smoother, more enjoyable experience. Remember, The Moo is the only radio station that talks exclusively about life in Albion. So if you'd like to feel more connected to our community, listen to The Moo using the TuneIn radio app.
And we're back, and I'm talking with Kaitlyn Sinclair about the parade. And you mentioned to me on the break that there was something that you missed that was really important to talk about.
Yeah, that would be that the parade lineup will be on the Huzzy Road. at 9:30, and the parade will hopefully start at 10:30.
Okay.
So if people are interested and can be there, if they haven't contacted me and they would still like to participate, if they can be there Saturday morning at 9:30 to get in the lineup for the parade, that would be great.
Okay. And in normal experience, how long does it seem to take to get everybody all lined up and ready to go?
Well, last year was my first year doing it, and people kind of just fell in place. I didn't really have a lineup set in stone or anything, so it just kind of came together. And when the police said it was 9:30 or 10:30 rather, and we should probably get rolling, we did. So,
okay. So your experience is everybody knows what they're supposed to do and they just do it. That's your experience.
Yeah, for the most part.
And you're counting on that for the second year in a row.
Well, I'm hoping to actually get some more feedback from the community about who will actually be there and participating, so I can try to have something lined up and a little bit more organized than it was.
Okay. It sounds like it goes pretty well. We're going to change topics now because your wife Kaitlyn is with us, and I understand that you're involved with organizing a cake contest.
Yes, I am.
Well, tell us a little bit about this cake contest.
Well, it's going to be that Saturday. Drop-off is at the Bessie Building at 12. Judging will be around 1:30. There's going to be 2 classes, ages 12 and under and 13 and older. $25 prize for each class. And the only requirements are they must be homemade and the participant must be a resident of Albion. Decorating is a choice. It might help a little bit, but it's up to them. If they want to get a hold of me, my phone number is 680-6174.
Okay. Now you say homemade, so it's not a box cake that was baked at your home. You actually have to do it from scratch with things like flour and all of that good stuff that you have to put together yourself. Is that my understanding of
That's
of
what
homemade?
I'm hoping for, is for homemade from scratch cooking. If you can dupe me with something that's out of a box, more power to you.
But you can tell a box cake from how far away?
It depends.
Depends on it. I know sometimes people do things to a box cake where it kind of hides the fact that it came from a box.
Yes.
Although I will say that I've heard from people who've actually bought box cakes where they've gone past their sell-by date, and they can actually taste horrible if they do that. So
Yes,
anybody
they can.
out there who's thinking, I'll try to sneak one through, you don't want to do it with an old box, just to set the record straight on that. So anyway, so they're going to do a home baked scratch cake. It's not necessary or required to decorate it. I'm assuming that they would at least want to have some frosting on it. You're just nodding to me.
Yes, it would be nice to have frosting on it. It makes it taste good, but it's up to the person that makes it.
Okay. Can be kind of dry if there's no frosting.
Yes, it can.
So in other words, a person can just do a simple frosting, and you're going to rate it based on the flavor. And so if somebody does not have skill at decorating cakes, that should not be considered an impediment towards entering the cake contest.
No.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I'm sure some people are saying, well, I can put frosting on a cake, but after that, nothing else is going to happen. Okay.
Sounds like me cooking.
I know I couldn't decorate a cake to save my life. So anyway, homemade, hopefully frosted, doesn't have to be decorated. Any other particulars that somebody might need to know that would help them to have a winning cake?
It would be neat if they could stay within the theme of Albion to the rescue.
Okay.
That would be really nice. And I've got 5 different categories that we're going to judge on, as in the effort that they've put into making the cake, the taste, the creativity, the appearance, and overall appeal. And with the appearance, it's not how the cake's decorated. Is it in a clean...
Is it presented well?
Is it presented well? Is it Does it have hair sticking out of it?
Okay, yeah, I could see that would be a turnoff pretty quick. Sure. So, in a clean container, attractively presented, when you look at it, you think, I'd like to have a piece of that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happens with all of these cakes during the day? I mean, the judges come by and they taste a sample of them. And then what happens with the rest of the cake after that happens?
I really haven't gotten that far.
You haven't gotten that far. You're not going to sell slices to...
I believe last year they tried that.
I think we might try and sell slices if they want to donate their cakes so that we can try and raise some extra money for next year.
Okay. But that'll be optional for the people who are entering their cake.
Yes.
Okay.
They can either donate it to us to sell slices or they can take it home and enjoy it at home.
Okay. Good enough. Any other details about the cake contest that we need to cover before we're done?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. Well, when Kevin and I sat down to do this interview, I didn't actually know that his wife Kaitlyn was going to join us and talk about the Field Day Cake Contest, although I do appreciate her willingness to share those details with us. Now, as always, there are many things going on Field Day. If you'd like to be in the parade, all you need to do is contact Kevin Sinclair at 680-6779. I'll give you that number again, 680-6779. And if you have questions about the cake contest, all you need to do is call Kaitlyn Sinclair. Her number is 680-6174. And I'll give you that number again, 680-6174. You know, a lot of planning goes into each annual Field Day, but the final ingredient that makes Field Day successful and memorable is your participation. The parade and the cake contest are just two ways that you can be involved. If you know anyone who you think would enjoy getting involved, please share what you've learned today. And I just want to say thanks. I'm Brad Taylor. I'll see you at the Moo booth on Saturday, July 28th.
You've been listening to Moot Point. Please take a moment to like us on Facebook, and we'll let you know when we have our next community conversation with someone who's doing something interesting here in Albion. Moot Point is a production of The Moo, home of the Albion Community Calendar and the Moo Country Music Stream at moo202.org.